Hello and welcome again to another video of Quarantine Science. Today I will be talking about a more serious and currently important subject to know about. We will be talking about viruses. How do they spread? How do they evolve? And many more questions will be answered today. What is a virus? A virus can take many shapes. I don't know all of them, so I drew a line, which is a common shape of a virus. I drew this, which is most common shape of a virus, and I drew an infinity sign because it can take many shapes. A virus is also a submicroscopic organism that can only multiply in or on other organisms. A virus can evolve to be more infectious, to be airborne, waterborne, or even harder to cure. There are different kinds of viruses. The most known of these viruses are the SARS virus, Ebola virus, MERS virus, and the most common being influenza. Let's start with the SARS virus because that is the most common one right now and the most talked about right now. The SARS virus is also known as severe acute respiratory syndrome. It's a virus that mostly damages the infected people's lungs. The first virus was noticed in animals before it was noticed in humans. It was just a matter of time before this would go to humans as well. The virus spreads via bodily fluids. It makes it easy to spread since it makes the infected people cough. This releases saliva, which most likely lands on someone's hands. This person might touch others or most likely infect them as well. Two common evolutions are the COVID-19 and the COVID-2 virus. These are a lot in the journals and the news, so that's why I talked about them. Next up is the Ebola virus. This virus spreads via bodily fluids. This is also very easy because it affects the infected people's blood, which cause internal bleeding. These go to the surface. If you touch this blood and it manages to get on your face, there is a high chance you as well will get infected. The virus had multiple outbreaks but is since already curable. A very dangerous virus is the MERS virus. This had an outbreak in 2015, killing 34% of the infected. This virus is also a very famous COVID virus. The first human being to be infected with this got infected in July 2014. This virus will most likely break out again. It is impossible to predict when, but we should keep being careful. This virus is still active in the Middle East. When you look at rats for example camels. If this virus evolves to be transmittable to humans, it will cause a lot of sneezing, coughing, and infections. It could be a death rate of 0.001% or a death rate of 34%. So it shouldn't be our highest priority, just something to watch out for. Last but not least, we have influenza, also known as the flu. People infected by this virus have problems with their respiratory system as well, making people feel like they have a cold. This virus has an outbreak every year and could be stopped by vaccinations. Since the virus keeps evolving into more dangerous strains of itself, it would be good to eradicate this virus as soon as possible. Okay, now I have two scenarios planned for you. First of which being a person A that is sick and a person B that is his friend. Person A is sick and needs to cough. Coughs in his hand, shakes hands with someone else. That person now has saliva and microscopes and maybe even the virus on its hand. This person now rubs his eyes, coughs in his hand as well, touching his mouth, his eyes, touching his face in general, which could lead to an infection. That's why you need to be careful with touching your face currently, and I would recommend getting a face mask. Scenario 2. Person A is sick. He comes home after a hard day of work, gives a kiss to his children and his wife. They had direct contact with this person in saliva and are now infected. You see, it's really easy for a virus to spread. Stay inside and wait for this all to blow over. Also, this is probably not a biological weapon designed by China. My evidence number one, the virus was already existing in animals that China imported and exported illegally and legally. This virus just evolved to be infectious to humans as well. Evidence number two, China does not have the resources for this. Unless they got help, China could have never invented something like this. We are barely even capable of this. Okay, so let me show you exactly how a virus could spread and how it evolves. I will take some paper and I will take a marker. So, first of all, we'll talk about the MERS virus because that's the one I think we should be more careful about. You have the southern east. This is the world. Not really an accurate representation, but the Earth. The virus came from already existing viruses or microbes that evolved to be a virus. As you can see, a little virus. This virus was, for example, just sitting on a rock with some moss over it and some grass over it. See, a rock with some moss and some grass. This moss is later being eaten by a... I'm sorry for my bad drawing skills, by the way. This is later eaten by a camel, this moss. This camel dies. I will not draw a dead camel because, well, I drew a gravestone. And just pretend this is a dead camel's body. This is now going into the grass again, with the virus still being alive. This grass got eaten by another one, or the dead body got eaten by a rodent. Okay, this rodent takes a little dump, leaves it on something edible. We oversee this dump, we eat this piece of edible, and now we as humans have this virus. That's why we should be very hygienic and very careful. Also, the reason why in some developing countries they have it way easier than us, not only because our medicine, but also because we are more hygienic. We have the ability to be, they don't. Another way a virus could spread is by touch of a human. Like I said before, by the touch of a hand. But not only that, I will give you another example. So, this is my credit card. I will not show you any details. I lent my credit card to myself, me being my friend in this scenario. I touched this credit card all over. I touched it a lot. Now, I give this credit card to someone else. They touch it. The virus is still on the credit card and now on this person's hand. This person decides to rub his eye, then with his hand, this does now get into the human's body. That is not only how a virus spreads, but it is a way of how a virus could spread. Some objects that are really, really, really important to clean are some faucets, phones, smartphones more specifically, terminals from payment terminals, and what else? Like doorknobs, things people touch a lot should be cleaned very often. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video about viruses. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. If you have another interesting topic I could talk about, please leave them in the comments below, and I will make sure to have a look at them and do some research about them. If not all information is 100% correct, I would love to change the information I gave. That's why if you know something I don't, you could also leave it in the comments below, and I will be sure to take a look at that as well and change my text edition and even the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the other video.